We bring you back into Game Time Live of the NBA Finals presented by YouTube TV. We sit inside Oracle, the calm before the storm and what'll be its last dance. As you can see, they've been dancing the whole time through. Nobody has slept up in TO at Jurassic Park, including a man who hopefully is drinking plenty of coffee himself, considering how loud it must be. I don't know how anyone's getting sleep as we get Skeets, who joins us there, of course, from the starter. So let me ask you first of all, because you've seen this city crazy for sports in the past, as somebody who has and can understand the difference, give me a sense of what's the most special difference between what you're seeing now the last few days from what you've seen in the past.
I mean, I grew up a Raptors fan. I grew up not far from Toronto, a couple hours outside of Toronto, went to school here in Toronto, and right around when the Raptors came into existence, right around when Zeke busted through that Raptors logo and started making great draft picks is when I fell in love with the team, obviously, right from the get-go. And I remember at the time, back in the 90s, and then when they got good and then they struggled again, you know, there was a fan base, a loyal fan base at that. But when you walked around the city or you walked into coffee shops, there were not a lot of people talking about the Raptors. It was about the Leafs, and it was about the Jays, and about the Argos and the other teams and other sports. But being here the last couple of days, I had the chance to be here for Game 5, and just being around the city, I mean, everybody is wearing some sort of Raptors paraphernalia. Somebody's talking about the Raptors and their chances, what happened in the last game. Can you believe that non-call? Will they close it out in 6? Is this coming back for 7? Just everybody. I think people that were not even diehard sort of basketball fans have jumped on this bandwagon over this magical playoff run for the Raptors and are into it and are invested in it. And so that's really cool for me, sort of being at the start of it all, that basketball love, or that when it was created in the 90s. To now to this point, it's really surreal, to be completely honest with you.
We'll have more from you, Skeets, as we go along. You could tell the paraphernalia is out there. Be careful of the mechanical dinosaur, though, okay? As he was looking over here with
scary.
a little side eye, he was a little bit fearful. We'll head back up to Jurassic Park in just a bit. When we look at the Raptors, though, and this franchise, a lot of times it is okay to say that a team kind of, and Mac, I'll start with you, creeps up on you as the year goes along, gets better as the year goes along. You believe more in the growth of players like Siakam. But now is a moment where now you learn the true character of, right, a person or a team when they're tested with adversity. Now coming back this time to do it on the road after the KD experience, really losing an opportunity in Game 5. How much will you learn about them based on the way they handle themselves in this spot tonight?
Well, yeah, a lot. I think you learn a lot about a team. You're going to say, okay, we're in a closeout situation, as they were in Game 5. You had a chance to close it out then. Now we're on the road closing it out. Is Siakam going to be aggressive with the ball? Our role players going to come out and be aggressive? I like their defense. They can switch a lot of stuff. They're a very versatile defensive team. Kawhi can guard just about anybody on the floor. Siakam can guard anybody on the floor. Kyle Lowry is a very willing defender. He'll body guys. And so Green, you go down the roster, a lot of guys can defend. I'm watching them tonight to see how many guys are aggressive on the offensive end. I was a good defender. I think we all played good defense. Right. I thought it was easier to defend than it was to be a good offensive player. I thought playing a good defender was being aware and being into the game and really competing. But these guys, to me, the Raptors, they've got to be better. A lot of these pieces have got to be good tonight offensively. For that, I'm not worried about them defensively. They'll do a good job, but offensively, can they go out and really help?
Grant, when you look at this last game that we saw, everybody talks about, guys, the 4 minutes where Kawhi kind of went off right before the Nick Nurse timeout, but we didn't really get the Siakam game. Van Vliet was missing some shots. We were talking about this on the way here. Have you seen the defense of the Warriors make those shots tougher for the Raptors the last couple of games than maybe they were earlier in the series?
Well, I thought in games 3 and 4, the Warriors' defense was non-existent. I mean, I've not seen this Warriors team struggle defending the screen and roll like they did last time they were here in Oracle Arena. And you had a lot of open shots from Danny Green and Marc Gasol, and just seemed to be some confusion defensively. I thought Game 5 there was an improvement, obviously, on the road for Golden State defending the basketball. And I think Siakam, I believe he's the X factor. He's the guy that had a big Game 1 there. He has struggled when primarily Draymond Green has guarded him. His numbers have been down. He's not shooting the ball well from the perimeter. He can't really sort of out-muscle or out-athlete him, if you will, because of Draymond's size and savvy defensively. So Siakam is someone who I think that matchup has been important and certainly went in the favor of Golden State in Game 5. But yeah, the defense improved, and that's going to be even more important now at home without Durant. He's not here. Defensively, Golden State has got to be sharp. And you know what? If Kawhi Leonard goes off, as we talked about, you can deal with that. But you can't have Gasol go for 20 and Danny Green 18 and the complementary players play big. If that happens, then Toronto is the champion.
Okay, you were a slasher when you played, okay? You look at Siakam, there's 8 seconds on the shot clock. He gets the ball in the left corner. There's nobody between him and the basket. He's got to get the slashing, Grant. I mean, you were great at that. Explain just the mindset of putting your head down and going to the hole, which I think he needs to do more of.
I think he does, but I think it also may play into sort of the game and the style of play nowadays. We put such an emphasis on three-point shooting, Coach, that a guy like that, look, if there's 8 feet between you and the defender, then close the gap.
Yeah.
Get on now you're going downhill. You're attacking the defender. You're at the advantage. And it doesn't seem like he's really doing that. He's unsure. He doesn't really want to shoot it, but he's not really comfortable maybe attacking, and he's just sort of in that no man's land. He's got to be aggressive, to your point, as all the other players do. He gets that ball, attack, put the onus on the defense or the officials to make a call.
Yep.
You know, be aggressive. That's the most important thing, particularly in a closeout game.
You know, Zeke, I was going to say, furthering on Siakam, 2 things. One, you saw the pump fake of Clay late in the game, obviously in Game 5. When Siakam in the corner has done that, they've bit, and that's where he's gotten those open cuts to the basket. He doesn't seem to use that often. But from a point guard standpoint, one thing we watched late in the game in Game 5 was Iguodala, who's a terrific defender his whole career. When you get him late in the game, at this age, he's not able to hang with a cutting Siakam, it didn't seem like, Zeke. There were a lot of times where he would roll to the basket and boom, if a nice bounce pass came at the right time, Siakam would blow by him without Iguodala being able to stop it. How much are you finding ways to get him cutting towards the basket to maybe exploit that athleticism and speed comparatively to some of the Dubs defense?
I think it's important for Lowry to really set the tone in terms of making sure that his team gets a good shot every time down. And when you out on the road, I mean, we're talking about, you know, people slashing, getting to the basket, but you want to make sure that you take good shots, because if you take quick shots in this building early in the game and you're missing, and now you allow Golden State to get in transition, and we know they're one of the best three-point shooting teams when they're in transition, and they score in transition. If you let them get out to a nice, comfortable lead by taking hurried, quick, bad shots, this is going to be a long night. So I think for Lowry, Kawhi Leonard, and everyone else playing, this is a game of tempo. The first half is about tempo. You got to slow this game down a little bit, take the crowd out of it, and make sure that you get a good shot down every single time and don't turn the ball over.
Well, we get a chance when we come back to turn it over to a pair of coaches having a conversation about basketball. A clinic indeed. Steve Kerr and Zeke one-on-one. When we come back, our coverage presented by YouTube TV continues.